A CTV television network presentation from Calgary, Alberta. The 15th Olympic Winter Games. Brought to you by IBM Canada Limited. Partners in Olympic performance. By Purolator Courier. When it's just got to get there. And by Swiss Chalet. For chicken and ribs, there's always value in a visit.
Good evening from CTV's Olympic Central at the International Broadcast Center at Stampede Park in Calgary.
The other night by the United States, the Soviet Union. Meanwhile, 5-0. Tom Watt has joined me, assistant coach with Team Canada. He's seen a lot of it. He's seen a lot of television over the years, too, Tom. Welcome to our telecast tonight, and tell us a little bit about the Soviets first, because that's the team that most people are interested in right now.
Well, the Soviets are just like the Soviets we always expect them to be. They have a very strong team here. They've made a few changes since the USSR tournament. They weren't very pleased when we won. And I don't think that we should count them out. I've heard a lot of people saying the Soviets, they didn't win the Canada Cup, they didn't win the USSR tournament, they didn't win the last World Tournament. People forget that they didn't lose a goal in the last World Championship in Vienna. They didn't lose a game, pardon me, and they didn't win the tournament. They had a few ties in there. We beat them in 3 games in our own country with our best players playing great hockey, a very, very exciting series. And then we upset them in USSR. I still think they're a very strong team, and I think they still should be favored in this tournament. But we seem to have had their number a little bit lately, and we're going to give them a tough time. And I think there are other few countries, Sweden and Czechoslovakia, are going to give them a hard time. But don't underestimate them.
All right, now Austria, a team with 6 Canadians on it, a team that did not play well to open the tournament, but can... in fact, skate pretty well, and in a small ice surface like the Corral is, which is smaller than the Saddle Dome ice surface, do they have a chance?
Well, I don't think they have a great chance, but I think the fact that we're playing in the Corral gives them a better chance. I think you can defend easier. I think the Soviets like the extra ice. They like more time to make their plays. Their skating and passing and their pattern-type play likes more room, and we're not playing on an international surface here, and I think that it may make it a little easier for the Austrians to defend, but there's no question about it. They're underdogs here tonight.
There's a Canadian, Robin Sadler, who hails from Vancouver, BC, a former #1 draft choice of the Montreal Canadiens, who never played professional hockey, went to Europe and has been over there a long time, either in Holland or in Austria, and is considered the #1 defenseman in Austria, now holds dual citizenship. Larionov, #11, back behind his own net with the puck now. Dishing it off. Out comes Krutov at center ice now for the Soviets, feeding it through the defense. Sadler reaching back and clearing it away is a goaltender, Stankiewicz. And it's cleared out to center ice. Behind his own net, Kazatonov, Makarov, Larionov, and again Makarov over the line. Makarov trying to circle that defense. Mike Shea, the defenseman, had him there, but then they throw it out in front. Krutov had his shot blocked by the goaltender. Zabisti at center ice. Rolled back to Starikov, who's back apparently in the good graces of the Soviet Union. He missed the Canada Cup. Fetisov ahead. Over the line, the quick shot taken by Semyonov, and again the goaltender covering up. The goaltender is Andreas Salat for Austria. Ed Stankiewicz did not have a great game the other night against the United States, and apparently has been taken out, Brian Stankiewicz.
Well, you were speaking about Starikov being back in. We're not on that unhappy to see Starikov back. We were really surprised when Billy Adinov was not named to the team, and he didn't play at Izvestia either, but he did play in the Canada Cup and played in one of our tours across Canada. We thought he played a strong series in this country. We thought he was going to be named, so we weren't disappointed when he wasn't.
Starikov, of course, a long-time member of the Soviet team. He wears number 12. He's the one on the far side backing up as the Austrians work it down over the line. Plotzer clearing it in, and the Soviets again out to center ice. Svetlov, number 16, over the line with Dorn giving chase. Svetlov on the backhand, and he shot it just wide. Salat may have gotten a piece of that with his goal stick. Again, cleared back deep inside the zone, and for Austria, Zabisti. Dorn clearing it out past Zabisti at center ice, and again it's Starikov. Ahead, Yashin. Yashin clearing it to an open wing now, trying to move up is Homotov. Put it right on Semyonov's stick. Semyonov moving deep. Behind the net, he is checked. Loose, and out in front it comes, right onto the stick of Ed Liedler, a Canadian. Raffel over the line, drops for Liedler. His shot's right on, and here comes the Soviet Union once again with Yashin on the left side. Yashin to the line. He is checked off the puck by Sulzer, and it's cleared back to center ice, and Koshevnikov will go back inside his own blue line. Circling his own net, Kamensky. Kamensky, who scored those big goals for the Soviet Union in the Rendezvous series at Quebec City a year ago. Kamensky hits the line. Chased into the corner, rolls it out in front. Sandler clears it out of harm's way. The Soviets try to work it in front again. Kamensky, and it's collected by Rappel, and Rappel works it up on the left side. Rappel shooting it as the Austrians make a change. Back to get it for the Soviets is Stelnov. Now out for Biakin. At center ice for Kamensky. It's cleared in, and Heron will go back. Behind his own net, Heron gets the return pass. The captain for the Austrians at center ice, and he is knocked off the puck by Fetisov. Kamensky feeds it back in. Koshevnikov at center ice, off Lumakin's skate. Turns, collects it again, now has it for Fetisov. Fetisov, and it's knocked away as he cleared it over the line, and Mike Shea picking it up. Shea behind his net, into the corner. Compagne at center ice, and it's cleared right onto the stick of Kazatonov. And the Soviets with Mogilny. He's a great young player, 18 years of age. Clearing it in. Watch for his speed. It's tremendous. Now Compagne clearing it to center ice. Fetisov back at his own blue line. Chernik on this side. Chernik's over the line. Number 21 with Shea right on top of him. And it's cleared behind the net. Mogilny trying to get it loose, but Compagne had him tied up. We played almost... We're into the 5th minute here. Whistles have not come at a great amount so far in this game. As it's cleared all the way down the ice, and Fetisov is back there to get it. And the icing comes. No score in this game with 4 minutes, 20 seconds gone.
IBM Personal System 2.
The face-off, that man put in a rebound on a shot from the point. Here it comes as the Soviets have taken a 1-0 lead. The rebound, and right there is Karutov to put it in. Gusarov letting the shot go from the blue line, Tom. And the defense just allowed the extra man in there for the rebound.
Well, that's right. You see both defensemen are on the offensive side instead of being on the defensive side. They got themselves on the outside of the puck instead of defending their goaltender. Krutov had nothing to do but put the puck in the net.
Krutov, who's so tough in that slot area because he's so strong. And tough even when he's tied up by a couple of defensemen there. He was just given a free track. Larionov now back to get it. Larionov at center ice. Gusarov, Karutov, and it's cleared right back out to center ice. Paspuk, and Starikov has got it for the Soviets. To Gusarov, back to Starikov, out to Karutov. Ahead now. Makarov between the legs. Karutov and Larionov going the wrong way at the blue line. Unable to get the break. Well, they moved that around beautifully. Reminder that we'll be switching over to the USA versus Czechoslovakia as Gusarov cleared it wide of the net, trying to find Makarov in front of the net. Now it's Makarov. We'll be updating this game, of course, as the evening progresses, but Sion now has it for Austria. Stand on hand at the Saddle Dome. We're here in the Calgary Corral for this game. Tom Watt, the coaching staff of our Olympic team, joining me here tonight. Sulzer trying to tie up his man. He got the puck into the goal mouth area, but it was steered away by goaltender Andreas Salat. Yakin rink wide. Semyonov hits the line now, and he's unable to control it. And it's cleared off the boards and out to center ice by Kerr. Now here's a chance. They score! Zabisky got a breakaway, went in and picked the corner. And it's a 1-1 tie.
Well, a great goal here. We see Zabisky just going in. Nice shot over the top glove, the outstretched glove of the Soviet goaltender here. But I thought the Soviet defender played it very casual. He was able, the Austrian player was just able to tip the puck by him and go the other side. He should have played his body instead of looking at the puck, and he was able to go home free to the net. I thought the Soviet defense played it very casual.
Comes at 5:58. We've got a 1-1 tie here. It's Zabisky getting that goal. That guy isn't happy.
I think the coach is telling him the same thing. You looked at the puck instead of playing the man.
Silvio Zabisky, 25-year-old who plays hockey in Salzburg. has tied this game up. 1-1 tie. We've had so many strange things happen, and maybe we shouldn't consider them as strange anymore. We're almost getting parity in world hockey. 1-0 scores against your team, Tom. We've had a monstrous upset. At least we considered it that the other night when Switzerland knocked off Finland. So it's been that kind of a tournament so far. Now we've got a 1-1 tie here. Remember, the Soviets were scoreless or goalless after one period against Norway before winning that game 5-0. Austria, Raffel poking it out to center ice. And we've got a high sticking penalty coming here. We'll take a break. We've got a 1-1 tie between the Soviet Union and Austria. Up for slashing. And so Austria will go on the power play. And it is a high sticking penalty, not a slashing call, as Gusarov back inside his own zone, clearing it ahead. Shea for Canada, for the Austrians. He is a Canadian from Montreal. Gets the puck back deep in his zone now as they try to get things going, and it's stolen as it went off the stick and skate of Koren, and it winds up in the corner now. Trying to jam it in there and hold it is number 13, Valery Kamensky, but it's popped out to center ice, and Starikov has got it to Gusarov. Starikov moving into forecheck on him is Koren. Finally, they clear it down the ice, and Shea is back to get it. Shea along the boards. Getting it up there is Zelnick. Cleared right back in again, and Shea will go back for it. Shea working the point with Robin Sadler, a couple of Canadians. Sadler holds the puck, gives it to Shea. Shea moves it along to Zenalik. Cleared right to the line and shot right back down again. Austria unable to get past the red center line on this power play, which has 49 seconds left. 1-1 tie here at the Calgary Corral between Austria and the Soviet Union. Cleared off the skate of Lomakin by Shea up against the boards right in front of the Austrian bench. They battle for it. Shea finally clears it over the line, but it's collected right there by Biakin, who just clears it down the ice with 28 seconds left in the power play. Well, the Austrian power play has shown very little power. Now it's cleared ahead. Sion couldn't knock it down. Fetisov's back there to get it. Sion beats him into the corner after it. Sion trying to poke it free, but it's Fetisov who clears it up ice. At center ice, it's knocked down and then cleared to Dorn. Dorn for Austria to Perk. Perk turning with it. Off the skate and stick of Makarov. Sion trying to get it over the line, and Plutzer finally, but he just ran into Koshevnikov as he was coming out of the penalty box, and with the penalty expired now, Austria deep in their own zone. Kazatonov moves in. He clears it to Makarov, to Kazatonov. Kazatonov with a path in front. Right in front, it's loose. Karutov, the quick shot, they score. Deflected in front, but Karutov appears to have his second goal of the game.
Well, what was unbelievable about that is that Krutov stopped the puck. The puck was being cleared in midair. He stopped it right out there. He bunted the puck down. Here is Kazatonov trying to come in front. The puck comes loose. It's cleared out. Watch the clear, and he stops it right in midair. We don't quite see it here, but he stopped it in midair as the puck comes out, put it down, and then shot in one motion. A little deflection as it's going to the net, and Krutov has the second goal of the night.
Well, that went off Tommy Sion's skate and into the net, so not much that the goaltender Andreas Salat could do. Now here are the Soviets again, leading 2-1 and putting the pressure on. Seltzer unable to control it. Larionov out to Fetisov. He gets set. The shot is deflected off Kelly Greenbank's stick behind the net. Greenbank reaches for the puck, but it winds up against the boards on this side where Zabisti picks it up. Zabisti loses it near the line to Fetisov, to Karutov. Larionov behind the net, but he can't control it. Makarov is there. Everybody around that puck, and Larionov comes in, picks it up. Larionov up against the boards. Now to Makarov. Makarov with Fetisov pinching in. He couldn't get the puck. It comes back to Larionov. Larionov, a good move to get around the forechecker, Pushnik, and he battles Pushnik, tries to hook it free. Kazatonov moving in, and he overskated it. Now we've got Kazatonov and Gert Kampine pushing a little bit. The whistle had gone. There's going to be a penalty called, I think, for tripping in the slot area. With the Soviets leading this game 2-1 and 10-10 left in the first period.
Well, of course, the big five unit were out there. Larionov's group, Makarov, Krutov, Kazatonov, and That whole group, they just controlled the puck the whole time inside the zone and had many, many chances, and it was all that the Austrian team could do to keep them off the score sheet, and then finally did, as we see Kelly Greenback drawing the penalty. But certainly they controlled the puck, the Soviets, very, very well inside the zone.
Well, you're a little outmanned when you've got the Greens playing against you, as they like to call that unit. And the Soviet Union, we've also seen them broken up the odd time in recent games. When I say that, I mean it broken up from a defense, the defense going with the other units and the Greens with another defensive pairing.
Well, if they're using their four forward lines and 3 sets of defensemen and the 2 goaltenders, the complement of 20 that's allowed to dress for a game, well, then of course the same defense pair is not always going to play with the same forwards, but they try, especially on penalty groups and power plays and shorthanded situations. They try to get them together.
Yashin behind the net, number 25 for the Soviets. The Soviets working on a power play right now. They've got Yashin on the power play. Up front with him is Semyonov. He's number 30. At the blue line, Starikov letting it go. His blue line partner is Gusarov. Semyonov behind the net. Yashin's the one parked out in front of Semyonov. Swings into the corner. Gets in front, rolls it across. It went off Platzer's skate and rolled back to his goaltender. Salat just covered it up, and then a little bit of temper there as he swung a stick at a Soviet had been poking away at him. And you look there at Anatoly Semyonov, who played in the Canada Cup and the Rendezvous and also Calgary Cup, which we saw, of course, last New Year's here in Calgary. Missed his Vestia, but he's back.
Well, Izvestia, there are, I believe, 7 changes in the Soviet team from Izvestia. Here we see Semyonov right off the edge of it, and actually the puck did come back loose. We didn't get the last shot of it there, and he got another poke at it, but there have been 7 changes since the Izvestia group, and obviously they weren't pleased when they didn't win their own tournament, but they've got lots of good hockey players.
A reminder, in just a few minutes, the United States will be taking to the ice against Czechoslovakia, one of the very big early games in this tournament. Czechoslovakia, of course, beaten by West Germany the other night, so they are going to be a hungry hockey team. They can't afford to lose another game if they want to get to the medal round. Meanwhile, the United States, one of the early favorites in this tournament as well. Homotov on the far boards. Out in front, quick shot, loose in front. They bang away a little bit more with 35 seconds left in the power play. It's behind the net. Number 22 is Koshevnikov. Now it comes out, and the quick shot taken by Homotov wide of the net. Moving in is Stelnov. On the far side, Homotov clearing it in front. They roll it across the goal mouth, and Kamensky fanned on it. Now it's up against the boards. Power play, 9 seconds left in it. Kamensky up against the boards, out to the blue line. Biakin's shot steered away, and Stelnov moves in. Off a skate and out to center ice. The penalty has expired. Kamensky at center ice. Kamensky working it back to Biakin. Biakin ahead, turning, but unable to see it before it had passed him. Koshevnikov, who now has it along the boards, working back as they try to organize. Now the change for the Soviets is complete as Kazatonov to Fetisov on the far side, and his pass knocked away. The power play for the Soviets has expired. 7 minutes and 38 seconds remaining in the period, and the Soviets, on 2 goals by Vladimir Krutov, are leading this game 2-1. Puck is cleared out to the blue line. That's Fetisov. Fetisov shooting it in there, and it's steered away by Salat, the goaltender. The Soviets putting the pressure on. Puck flipped over top of the net. And so the status of this hockey game at this particular moment is the Soviets leading this one 2-1. Tom, pretty predictable. I think the Soviets are beginning to control it.
Yes, I think they are, and I think they're just not playing at their best either. I think they've wasted a lot of good opportunities.
Okay, we're, of course, here in the Calgary Corral. In just a couple of minutes, it'll be the United States against Czechoslovakia, and Dan Kelly and Brad Park are waiting to bring you that game. We'll be back during the evening to update this game and try to tell you the whole story of what's going on here in the Calgary Corral. But right now, let's switch back to the IBC, the Central, and Lloyd Roberts.
Alors, ça peut être libre. Ruta, il va d'un tir. Et c'est maintenant 2-1 pour un avantage numérique. On a porté le compte 3-1 lorsque Makarov a fait dévier le tir de Kazatonov. Le gardien Salat n'y pouvait rien. Donc, après 20 minutes de jeu, Union soviétique 3 et l'Autriche 1.
7-1, the Tom Watt, co-coach with the Canadian Olympic team. And Tom, They're just a little outmanned out there, I think, for Austria.
It's just a question of how many right now, because they've really opened it up, and the Austrian team has really sagged, I think. They don't have the puck very much to begin with. The Soviets seem to have it all the time.
Just to bring you up to date on what happened, it was 3-1 at the end of the first period. Kurutov had 2 goals and an assist, and Makarov 1 goal, 2 assists. Kazatonov had 2 assists in that first period, and the Soviets outshot Austria 19-6. And they scored early on a power play in the second period to make it 4-1. Homutov from Kamensky and Koshevnikov. And then they've blown this game open with 3 quick goals. 3 goals in exactly 1 minute. Yashin from Semenov and Biakin at 6:08. Kamensky from Fetisov and Homutov at 6:53. And then Chernik from Starikov and Gusarov at 7:08. So in 1 minute, this game went from a 4-1 hockey game to where it is now, a 7-1 hockey game. The Soviets at this moment are killing off a penalty. In the penalty box is Kamensky, and the Soviets now try to kill this off as the Austrians on the attack, with Raffel just missing the net there, and then the puck is cleared down the ice by Gusarov. Back to get it will be Sulzer for Austria. Tom, you spotted anything with this Soviet team that you didn't know before?
No, they're using all 4 of their forward units. They're using their whole bench in a game like this, and they're playing exactly the same style, 2-1-2 system that Tikhonov has used since the time he took over as the head coach. So they don't change. They just keep coming at you.
You know, you're talking about yourself, of course. You've seen the Soviet team so many years as a broadcaster with CTV or with our Olympic team in 1980 and again here in 1988. You know, you just keep seeing them. You just keep seeing them. Nothing changes too much, and really they almost invite you to come and get them, don't they?
Well, that's what they believe. They believe that their training, their system, their conditioning, their skills is all that they need. They just keep coming in the same rotation. I think that's one of the weaknesses. They don't allow for if one player is having a bit of an off night, he still gets the same amount of ice time as somebody else. They don't allow for the fact that maybe half of their team are better than the other half, and they deserve a little more ice time. Everybody seems to get a quality of ice time. No fellow is set down if he's not playing up to par in his game. I'm not so sure that we would agree with that in North America, and I think to a certain extent sometimes it hurts them.
By the way, there has been a goaltending change. The starting goaltender for Austria was Andreas Salat, but Robert Mack is now in the nets. He wears number 1. As we look at the Soviet goaltender, Milnikov, who it appears has kind of taken the number 1 role here. This is his 2nd straight start. Beloshenkin was supposed to be the heir apparent to the great Vladislav Tretiak, but has just never been able to assume that role.
Well, Beloshenkin has a knee injury, and apparently it's more serious than anyone has been led to believe, and he's getting treatment here in Calgary, but whether or not he's going to play at all is going to be a question.
Soviets back on the attack. The penalty is over. 7-1 is the score with 6 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the second period. Soviets are leading. Pushnik trying to get it over the line. Here comes Mogilny. This kid can really fly, but he's only 18. And now a little late hit there. Zabitsky nailed by Biakin, which causes a flare of tempers here. And the score, 7-1. The Soviet Union leading. Looking at Milnikov, the goaltender, and as Tom just mentioned, perhaps the goaltender for the duration here for the Soviet Union, making a save on a slap shot from the blue line by the Soviets, who are currently killing off a penalty on that little skirmish just inside the Austrian blue line. Biakin was handed a roughing penalty, so he's in there with 1:33 remaining. So the Austrians will try again to get something going. It's not too easy when you're going up against the skills of the Soviet Union. Platzer off the boards, and Alec can't control it. Larionov got a stick on it, and finally it's Kazatonov who shoots it out to center ice, and Dorn back in his own zone as it was Makarov kind of colliding there with Haran.
You see, the Soviets really kill the penalty aggressively. They use their speed to come at you all the time. Here's Larionov controlling the puck, but they're after you all the time. They don't just let you bring the puck to them and defend their own blue line in a set box. They're always skating, always coming after you, trying to force you into mistake, even though they're shorthanded.
Funny how this game has gone. The Larionov line has been dominant in the first period, has kind of taken a secondary role here in the second period, as Kamensky and Semyonov and Homutov have been very much at the front and have been in on almost all the goals here in this period. Again, Austria with 35 seconds remaining in the power play, deep in the Soviet zone, but there's Kazatonov up against the boards, and parked right in front of them is Fetisov, and they'll hold the puck in there. We've got a curling score for you. Good news for Canadian curling fans in the women's side of the demonstration competition here at this Winter Olympic Games. Canada beat Switzerland this afternoon 6-4. 5:02 left here in the second period. 7-1 the Soviets lead, and Fetisov was having a couple of words with one of the Austrian players, and he's going to the penalty box for all of this, it would seem.
Well, Lebler and Fetisov were going at one another, and they're both going off the ice. Looks like they're both either getting roughing or high-sticking penalties, but they came at one another late after the whistle had occurred.
Ed Lebler, by the way, is a Canadian. Works as a pharmacist in British Columbia in the off-season. He's from Vanderhoof, BC. So now the Soviets 2 men short. Austria 1 man short, and then coincidental penalties. Unlike the National Hockey League, you serve them. You serve them, and your team goes short. So there's lots of space on this Stampede Corral ice, and I should mention that the Stampede Corral is basically professional-sized ice here. They were unable, because of the construction of the building, to widen the ice surface as they were able to do over in the Saddle Dome. So we're playing NHL-style hockey here, and Austria feels it has advantage, especially when they start playing some of the teams that are more in their class of competition. They'll be playing most of their games over here.
Well, remember that the Calgary Flames, when they came here first, played here for a number of seasons before the Saddle Dome was built, and played very effectively here. A big team playing in a rink that isn't that big.
From the faceoff, Starikov shooting it down the ice. 4:55 remaining in the period. Robin Sadler going back for it for Austria. Sadler moving it up now. 13 seconds left in the power play. Sulzer shooting it in behind the net. Melnikov out to center ice. Semyonov off his stick, unable to get loose and control it as Sadler goes in to pick it up and shoots it around the boards. And the team's now at even strength, although a man short. And Austria, Kert out of his own zone. Sulzer ahead for Robin Sadler. Sadler inside the blue line. Sadler trying to get set, goes to his backhand under some checking pressure from Starikov, who is playing up high on the play. Semyonov then is knocked down. Out in front now. Kert shot just wide on the backhand. Up against the boards on the far side. That is Sion trying to get loose. He is checked up against the boards by Gusarov. At center ice, Sadler comes across and pokes it free, but the Soviets then bring it in over the line. Trying to get set as they work it to the goal mouth area, and a player is dumped in front of the net, and Mack covers up and holds it for the face-off. So we have 3 minutes and 53 seconds remaining here in the second period. The Soviets very much in control. The score is 7-1 at this point. We're going to take you back now to our broadcast center, and there is Lloyd Robertson. Lloyd?
Les faits saillants de ce match entre l'URSS et l'Autriche.
En deuxième, Claude, les Soviétiques ont réussi 5 buts sans riposte, 3 en l'espace d'une minute. Dès le départ, belle pièce de jeu à 3. D'abord, Komutov qui remet à Fetisov, à Kamensky qui lui est seul devant le filet, et c'est alors 4-1 pour l'Union soviétique. On voit à nouveau cette pièce de jeu à 3 et le gardien autrichien qui n'a aucune chance. Quelques secondes plus tard, Alexander Tchernik a porté le compte 5-1 avec une très belle descente. Il a contourné le défenseur et il a déjoué le gardien. Il avait d'abord au centre reçu une belle passe de Starikov. On va à nouveau revoir Tchernik qui a complètement débordé le défenseur pour s'approcher du gardien et porter le compte 5-1. À nouveau, le but de Alexander Tchernik. Et enfin, après le but de Tchernik, Alexander Kojevnikov a porté le compte 6-1 lorsque Komensky a vu le gardien autrichien lui voler un but. Le disque est devenu libre. Il a trouvé preneur. Et c'est maintenant 8-1, je le répète, après 2 périodes en faveur de l'Union soviétique.
Oui, merci beaucoup, Pierre. Alors, je vous rappelle que vous écoutez les Jeux olympiques.
Or Czechoslovakia.
Time involved.
Well, I think that's the exact word. They've coasted in the last little bit. I think they just want to continue to get out of this game without any injuries, and 8-1 lead. They look like they're content with that.
You look at a game like this, Tom. Can you really get a? I mean, you're obviously helping us out as a broadcaster, but as a co-coach of our Olympic team as well. Can you get anything out of a game like this against this kind of opposition?
Well, I think it's better, I would think, rather than having a wide-open game, I think it's better if you keep the goals against down. I think the tendency is when it's a high-scoring game to get in bad habits where, you know, all three forwards are in whacking at the goaltender's pads trying to get the 10th goal, and then you may get caught with 3-on-2s, but you're not too worried about it because the opposition you're playing isn't that dangerous. So you can get in bad habits. I think it's better for a team in this type of game to keep the goals against down, even though they may not score the 12 or 15 goals that maybe they're capable of. I think that shows a little more discipline on their part.
Just to bring you up to date on the scoring in this game, with 57 seconds left and Austria about to go on a power play with Starikov in the penalty box, Karutov has 2 goals and an assist for 3 points. He has 5 points in 2 games in the tournament now. Makarov with a goal and 2 assists. Kamiensky also with a goal and 2 assists. Homotov with a goal and an assist. And Koshevnikov also with a goal and an assist. Gusarov has 2 assists in the game. So that's been the story, basically, with 37 seconds left now. Austria would like to get another goal, just to say they got 2, I guess, on the Soviets. But the way the Soviets have been playing, they haven't been getting close to Milnikov at all. And the Soviets now, through almost 2 games against Norway and against Austria, have allowed just the 1 goal. They shut out Norway, of course.
Well, the fans are getting into it. They really like to see Austria get that 2nd goal. They're cheering them on here. They've got the power play in the last minute.
So we're watching it now as we look there at Austria's Zenalik, or Sion rather, that's Thomas Sion, who plays in Klagenfurt in Austria as part of the #1 line in Austria in their regular league play. So here we go for the final 32 seconds of this game, and then we'll be, of course, switching you back to the Saddle Dome. Dan Kelly and Brad Park are standing by to bring us what should be a very exciting 3rd period of that game, as Czechoslovakia has been mounting a comeback against the United States. Here come the Soviets now, and Mogilny, the youngster, shooting it over top of the net, and Kert picking it up there, but it rolls all the way to center ice. There's Kazatonov, 13 seconds remaining. And a little stick handing from Milnikov as he throws it out to center ice, and Mogilny is there. Mogilny with 6 seconds left blasts it in there, and that'll be the hockey game. Mogilny picking it up along the boards. Final word from you, Tom, on this one.
Well, I think it was 8-1 was a good score for the Soviets. They won easily. I don't see that they got any injuries, and they were pretty good defensively.
Coming up the 3rd period, the USA against Czechoslovakia with Dan Kelly and Brad Park. Final score here, 8-1. The Soviets are undefeated now in this division as they have taken Norway and Austria. Their next game against the U.S.
5.